Hi, I'm Scott Mentzer, broker-owner at Orchard Hill Mortgage, and this is your weekly mortgage update. Okay, let's just jump right in and take a look at last week's mortgage rate recap. And last week, rates crept higher, and this could have been worse, but it was slowed due to the inflation data report showing that inflation continues to cool. So this is a good thing for mortgage rates and a good thing for the economy in general. But we did have rates slightly increasing last week. Okay, let's take a look at this week's rate forecast. And unfortunately, rates could be volatile this week with daily, movements of up to down with the rates, and this unfortunately could set the tone for rates in the near future and coming weeks. The other thing that we need to consider this week is Wednesday's Fed meeting and press conference, and this will cause the biggest moves in mortgage rates. And at that meeting, the Fed will determine their Fed rate. Will they increase it, and by how much? There is speculation that they could slow their Fed rate increases since inflation is starting to cool, but we won't know that until the meeting on Wednesday. The other items that we need to look out for this week is the jobs and wage data on Friday and the consumer confidence data on Tuesday. So these are other things that will influence mortgage rates. Hopefully those reports will be positive and will have a positive impact on mortgage rates. All right, so let's take a look at what's affecting rates this week. We have two main items, economic data and the Fed. Let's take a look at the economic data. We have the jobs and wage report coming out, and then we have the consumer confidence report. Those two things are the items that will cause movement in the mortgage rates this week. Depending on how the reports fare and whether they're positive or negative, will determine how much rates increase or if they start to decrease. So again, we'll wait for that information to come out later on this week. The other item of concern for mortgage rates this week is the Fed announcement on their Fed rate increase, which will come out on Wednesday, and their policy statement for the rest of the year. This will really have an impact on the rates. The 0.25% rate that's expected has already been priced in the markets. It's their policy statement that really will have an impact on rates as we move forward. So we'll look forward for that on Wednesday, and hopefully it will be good news that will hopefully allow rates to decrease a little. But again, we have to wait till Wednesday. Let's take a look at mortgage and real estate news this week. I found this one article and I thought it was really interesting. New home sales inch forward, marking 3 straight monthly increases. This is based on a report from the U.S. Census and HUD, and they released data that home sales increased in December by 2.6% over November, and in January, preliminary data is showing increase in sales for new home sales. This is for new home sales, not existing sales, but new home sales. It also looked at some data from Home Builders Association, and it saw an increase in pricing of new homes for the first time in 12 months. So January, they've seen an increase in pricing the first time in 12 months. that will also affect existing sales, which will be a good thing for real estate market. So because new home sales, trickle over into existing sales, the pricing of the market of homes. So some good news there. Though they did say that you know this really was in the South and in the Midwest, so that where prices were starting to stabilize and increase. In the Northeast and the West, pricing is still on the decline, but eventually that should catch up. And the reason for this difference is home prices in the South and the Midwest tend to be lower than in the Northeast and the South. So again, just some good news for real estate, and hopefully this will, have a positive impact for the real estate and mortgage markets as we move forward. All right. Well, that's all I have for this week. Thanks for watching another episode of the Mortgage Update. And remember, if you or your buyers have questions about their unique situation and getting pre-approved for a mortgage, feel free to give me a call and I'd be happy to help set up a conference call or meet in the office to discuss their situation. Again, Scott Mentzer, Orchard Home Mortgage. Have a great week.